Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Apologies I haven't uploaded in the past couple of months. I have still been filming and I've actually got a bunch of half-filmed videos, half-edited videos rotting away on my hard drive. But I wanted to upload this video first, so that's essentially the barrier to entry is this video. But we're getting up today, baby. So welcome. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. And who knows, maybe I'll upload more than like 4 videos a year. Let's find out. Anyway, so today I wanted to share with you, I guess it's like a pseudo vlog. I went to Japan back in November and I had all these grand designs on filming like a proper travel vlog. And to be honest, that just went out of the window. It was like such a wonderful trip, but I'm going to give you a very quick rundown on our itinerary. So we started in Tokyo and essentially had a long weekend there, and we were staying in around Kawasaki. And then my partner and I, we caught a train to Hakone and we spent a day and a night there at the Hakone ropeway. And we also wanted to stay in an onsen, because we have tattoos. And also, I just think like culturally, because public baths aren't really a thing in the UK, I don't know if I want to be getting butt naked in front of complete strangers. I'm sure they wouldn't care, but I would be acutely aware of it. But also my partner and I have tattoos. So we knew that was going to be potentially an issue. So we stayed at a ryukun and had a private onsen as well, which was great. And then we caught the bullet train down to Osaka, where we also went to Nara whilst we were there, and then went back up to Tokyo and then came home. So whilst we were there, we went to the print museum, which is predominantly what this video is going to be. I haven't actually rewatched this footage. I think I rewatched it like, I don't know, a week or so after I got back. But we're going to do a little voiceover. We're going to go through everything together. And I essentially feel like I'm giving you like a PowerPoint presentation. I did upload a Japan like stationery art supplies haul months ago. So if you want to see what I bought whilst I was there, I'm going to link it below. I think it's like only a couple videos back though. So it's pretty easy to find, but I'll link it for you. I'll pop it in the cards somewhere up here too. So if you want to keep the good times rolling, you can watch that. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? All right, my loves, here we are outside of the printing museum in Tokyo. I just had a little look-see, and the closest station is Lidabashi Station, and it's also quite near the Imperial Castle. Oh, I literally just looked at it on Google. Anyway, so it's only 500 yen to get in, so it's actually really, really affordable. And this is what you see when you first come in. So there's kind of a, how do I put this, almost like a through time, how printing has evolved and how I guess like communication has been really important. I did notice these Peruvian, I forget their names, where like plats were a way of like ancient communication and like record keeping. Oh, that's really going to bother me. But yeah, that's like a way that Incas used to retain information, which is like a bit of like a lost language almost. So I really like that this wasn't necessarily focusing exclusively on just Japanese or Eastern printmaking and sort of ways of communicating. It sort of really is a all-encompassing thing. I think there was something that looked a little bit like the Rosetta Stone to begin with, but obviously ultimately there is quite a lot of Japanese printing, but of course like woodblock printing is really synonymous with the Eastern world. So and I just really enjoyed this display. I think it was like a really impactful way to sort of like start an exhibition. So it had like, whether it's like letterpress pieces, whether they're metal, whether they're wood, and lots of different like woodblock prints, as well as tools. Like I liked that they had things like bamboo barons and chisels on display as part of this. And then there's quite a bit of like lithography and etching. And this hench book, like obviously is I think really hard to see in this footage, like how big some of this stuff was. That book with the owls was gargantuan. You'll see a lot more of the Great Ways off of Kanagawa a little later on as well. But this was mainly for me, and filming this was for my, of course, Animal Crossing fantasies. I don't know if you've seen a lot of my work, but I do love red and black together, especially on like an off-white creamy paper, and there was so much of that in this. And then this was really fun too. Hang on, I'll stop talking so you can hear this. What I liked about that, again, there's like a bit more like interactivity. There was some stuff that was interactive throughout the exhibition as well. But I liked, for even like quite a simple rudimentary that is still taking like print into motion as well, which I quite enjoyed. One thing I also love, and I've noticed a lot more in more Eastern artwork, is like and like with woodcuts and stuff, is the aspect ratios. Like have really like long prints, or whether that's like vertically long or horizontally. So this here is the Guinness World Records smallest printed book. Now I'm going to pause it right here. I think I must have taken a photo of it on my phone. If not, we're going to zoom in on the edit. And this, I am so upset that this was not available as a print, because I just think it's so cool. So you can see like in that tiny little sponge enclosure, the smallest printed book. So it's like a folded, almost kind of like a zine, to be honest. And it's all about the seasonal flowers of Japan. And I just thought just the layout of it on like an A4 piece of paper was so cool. And I'm like, why, spoiler alert, was not in the gift shop. And I'm really upset because I think it looks amazing. Just a really nice piece of design. Yeah, there's me zooming in on it. I don't know if you can see how small that is, but it is teeny tiny, and I'm just gonna have to take their word for it that it is actually printed, but the certificate says so. So what was like fun about this exhibition, so the beginning bit where you kind of had that like timeline is kind of giving you a bit of an overview, but then when you walk into like the main exhibition area, it is still like in chronological time order, but it is more focused on Japanese and Eastern printmaking. So I mentioned that the Great Waves of Kanagawa were going to turn up again. So what I thought was really interesting for this, and I guess for people that aren't printmakers that would come here, they showed each layer as it would have been printed. What I find really interesting as a printmaker myself, I personally do the design work, the carving, the printing. I do all of it together. But actually, back in sort of the real like heyday of woodcuts, specifically with a piece like Great Wave off of Kanagawa, a lot of the artists, there would be somebody that's like paints the original, there would be a carver who does the carving, and then there would be a printer that does the printing. It would be 3 separate people, I guess, really honing that specific part of the craft. And there is some, as you can see on the sides, there are different sort of interactive things that tell you a bit more about what is under the glass. I know I just did a lot of filming of the stuff that I like the look of. I really like how the information would carve around any illustrations. I also really enjoyed, there was a bunch of stuff where you could have like have a look through things through, what am I trying to say, magnifying glasses, to kind of see a bit more of the detail, which to me is really interesting. I also wanted to take a note on the anatomical books, because something that has stuck with me so much from my GCSE history, not even art history, was the importance of the printing press, specifically for the medical field. I'm always like, yes, Vesalius. Was that his name? But yeah, I think it was in the 1500s that the printing press was created, which means that information, including but not limited to, that the 4 humours wasn't real, and how to communicate with everybody. Medical information, I always find that really special, because, you know, I think the printing press was really revolutionary for humans in general, not just for making artwork. So this was like almost like on a projector situation. Now, hang on, wait. This I want to stop and talk about, because these sets of prints I loved. I forget how old they were. I don't know if I actually zoomed in on it. I really hope that I did. But, or if not, I can look at this in a sec, but I loved just how vivid the colours are in this. Like, I think the colours in this, and for how old it is, it's at least the 1800s. I know that much. I think that's really what was taking me aback, was how old these prints were and how these inks have stood the test of time and still really like have that jewel tone to them. It's not always necessarily colours that I work with either, but I really, really respect it. And that's just something that I love looking at with woodcuts as well. I think I'll link it down below as well. I went to Copenhagen, and in the printing museum, the design museum, when I was there, they had a woodblock exhibition. There were some like perspectives that I really enjoyed, which, yeah, I just think it's great when you have these scenes of a lot of people just like, I just think it's cool, the end. And yeah, I could not get over how old some of these prints were and how well preserved they were. So here's some like metal plate letterpress. And then this is getting, I guess, a little bit more modern. We've got some more like modern magazines. I think this is kind of like around like the war time. I think this was also a time when a guided tour came in, so I kind of got a little bit more shy with filming, also because I wasn't 100% sure that I could. So if you're watching this from the Print Museum Tokyo, I'm really sorry. But yeah, as somebody who studied graphic design, I still do really have a good appreciation for good layouts. So that's why I'm filming a lot of this like packaging and stuff, because for me it's still really interesting, even though I don't necessarily want to go into packaging design. Doesn't mean that you can't respect it and enjoy it. So this, I forget, this was like a temporary exhibition where this is from. Obviously it's not on anymore. This is back in November. And it was celebrating 100 years of something. Anyway, so here's something that I thought was really fun. You could, pick up a serif, I guess, and pretend to be the type and take yourself a little picture. So here's me. Oh my God, I love those trousers. Sorry, it's the middle of summer now. It is not the time for corduroy, but I picked those up in Uniqlo whilst I was in Japan. Sorry, a moment for the trousers, guys. A moment for the trousers, where you could, you can see my boyfriend absolutely just over my shit of me pretending to be type. He didn't want to pretend to be type. Boring, I say. But anyway, he's still stuck around. This, I think, was just before I realised that I couldn't do the letterpress workshop. Oh, hang on, wait, I know I said earlier, this is where all the information is. Yeah, so it's like a guided tour is 2:00, and then it's 2 to 4 for the letterpress workshop. I've just been on their website, and I have seen that depending on what season, depends on what you get to make. So I know at the beginning I mentioned it, so I think you can do like greeting cards in the winter, bookmarks in autumn, coasters in summer, and then I think just like some fun little pressed like cards in spring, which is really nice. So you could go 4 times a year if you wanted to and make something new. But the space looked incredible, and I'm honestly gutted that I incorrectly timed my visit, but also because I did look at it to go back. But as I said, when we first got there, we were staying in Kawasaki, and then we were staying in Shinjuku on the way back. But you can, for everybody, you can do these like little stamp postcards here, which is what I'm doing. I think due to the time of year, as I mentioned, I went in November. It was like a little calendar that you could make. But and I just think as well, like with Japanese culture, like where stationery and stamps are used really regularly, I think ultimately this is a bit fun, but you can see on my face that I was devastated that I did not get to partake in the workshop. But you need to book it in advance. I think only like 8 people can do it. So really, if you are looking to do this and are planning a trip to Tokyo and to this museum, book it now. Book it right now. I will also link down below the website where you can book it, because I don't want you to be disappointed. But anyway, do you want to see me having a tantrum? Here you go. You ready? I am throwing a full-blown tantrum. So fucking annoyed. Anyway, and we're back. But then also upstairs, I guess this was a bit more of a graphic design exhibition. They were looking at different packaging. But again, I was just absolutely raging at this point. You can see my boyfriend laughing at me, just having a tantrum. But there was some really nice pieces in here. They did have these lipsticks. I think they're by Paul and Joe. Yeah, this is the last thing that I filmed. which are shaped like cats, and I know you can get Urban Outfitters. Anyway, thanks so much for taking a trip down memory lane with me to go through this, and I guess me talk you through the exhibition space. I would recommend going. I would recommend going on a day where you can partake in the exhibitions and the workshops, because I think that's really where this museum would come into its own. Do let me know if this is a type of video that you would like to see from me. As I said, when I filmed this, I had all different visions of making something different, but it wasn't meant to be. But as I said, I just need to get over myself and maybe get a smaller camera, a less fussy camera. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, as I said, please subscribe. Let's hang out. I've got a bunch of other videos that I want to share with you. I was recently in an exhibition, so I filmed that. I also hosted a workshop recently as well. So they're all things that I want to talk and share about on YouTube. Anyway, I hope you're having a fabulous summer so far, and I shall speak to you again soon. Bye!